Have you ever just looked around and had this overwhelming feeling that everything is just fake? Like, you want to pack a bag and just get away from it all? Yeah, you are definitely not the only one.
So, get this. Back in 1951, a book comes out called The Catcher in the Rye, and it completely splits the world in two. On one side, you had people literally burning it, calling it absolute trash. And on the other, you had people clutching it, saying, this book saved my soul. Talk about a strong reaction, right?
So what's the deal with that? Why the intense love and the intense hate? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into, because the answer is why this book still hits so hard today.
We're going to break down how this story about a runaway teenager from over 70 years ago is somehow almost creepily about your life right now in 2024.
It all starts with an escape, a desperate run from a world that just feels completely and utterly phony.
So let's meet our guy Holden Caulfield. He's 16, he's stuck at this ritzy boarding school called Pensy Prep, and surprise, surprise, he's just been kicked out for the 4th time. And his whole deal is this. He believes the entire adult world is filled with phonies. You know, people just putting on an act, faking it all the time. Sound at all familiar?
And every escape has a trigger, right? A final straw. For Holden, it's a full-on fist fight with his roommate, who is pretty much the definition of phony. The fight is over a girl named Jane Gallagher, someone Holden sees as genuine and real. So when his roommate comes back from a date with her and is all slimy and disrespectful about it, Holden just snaps. That's it. He's done. And just like that, he grabs his signature red hunting hat, sneaks out of school in the middle of the night, and heads for New York City. But this big taste of freedom? It's not quite what he was hoping for.
He gets into a taxi and he asks the driver this really bizarre question. Now, it sounds completely random, but trust me, this is the key to his entire headspace. He's not really asking about birds, he's asking about himself.
It's such a brilliant metaphor. The ducks are Holden. They're vulnerable, their home has frozen over, and nobody seems to know or care where they go to survive. He feels exactly like that, completely lost and unprotected in this huge, cold city. He spends the next couple of days desperately trying to find just one real connection. He tries with the cabbie, who just thinks he's a weirdo. He calls an escort to his hotel room, but when she gets there, he realizes he just wants someone to talk to. He even meets up with an old girlfriend, Sally, and tries to convince her to run away with him. Every single attempt just blows up in his face, leaving him more and more isolated. Okay, this brings us to the absolute heart of the story. This is the turning point, where we finally learn what the title of the book actually means.
Feeling completely adrift, Holden sneaks into his parents' apartment to see the one person in his world he doesn't think is a phony, his little sister, Phoebe. And she sees right through him. She knows he's been kicked out again, and she asks him this simple but devastating question. What do you actually want to be?
And this is his answer. It's not a job, it's a calling. He tells her he has this image in his head of a bunch of little kids playing in a huge field of rye right next to a cliff, and his job is to stand there and catch them if they start to run too close to the edge. He doesn't want a career, he wants to be a protector of innocence.
So let's just quickly break that down, because it's everything. The rye field represents the innocence and purity of childhood. The cliff? Well, that's the scary, unavoidable fall into the phony, complicated world of being an adult. And Holden wants to be the catcher, the one person who can save everyone from that fall.
But this deep desire to protect everyone, as noble as it sounds, leads him to one final, really powerful realization. He takes Phoebe to a carousel in Central Park. As it spins, the kids all start leaning way out, trying to grab for this golden ring. And Holden's first instinct, that catcher instinct, kicks in. He wants to yell, "Stop! You're gonna fall! You'll get hurt!" But then he looks at his sister, happily reaching out, and something just clicks. He realizes you can't stop them. You have to let them reach for that ring, even if it's risky, even if they might fall. And that is the ultimate lesson of the whole book. He wanted to be the perfect protector, but he finally gets it. You can't shield people from life. You can't prevent the stumbles and the scrapes, because taking those risks, and yeah, sometimes falling, that's not a bug. That's how we grow up. So why does any of this matter to you in 2024? Because in a way, we're all living in our own giant field of rye, staring at our own cliffs. I mean, think about it. Holden was disgusted by the phonies of the 1950s. Can you even imagine what he would think of our world today?
Our social media feeds are the ultimate expression of phoniness. Everyone is performing perfect happiness, perfect success. We're surrounded by that pressure, and it can be incredibly alienating, just like it was for him.
So what can we take from Holden's chaotic weekend? Here's kind of a modern action plan. First, acknowledge your ducks. That feeling of being lost and not knowing where to go, that's not a weakness. It's a signal from your soul that you're craving something real. Second, stop trying to be the perfect catcher. You can't shield the people you love from every fall. Real love is about trusting them to reach for their own rings. And finally, find your own golden rings. In this world of fakeness, look for those small, real moments of joy that ground you. A real laugh with a friend, the smell of rain. That's the good stuff.
Because in the end, that's the real story, isn't it? It's not about building a fence to prevent the fall. It's about having the courage to reach for the ring and trusting that we and the people we love are strong enough to get back up again when we do.